This channel is dedicated to finding the messages behind certain film and television. To me, no director is better at telling the audience a message than George Miller. George Miller, if you don't know, has directed Happy Feet and most notably, the Mad Max series. I bring him up because he, of most modern directors, is able to preach a message to an audience the most effectively. This is something he does at his best in his most recent work, Mad Max Fury Road. Fury Road is like no film I've ever seen, let alone any action film. As a film that is based primarily around vehicle chases, the film itself feels like it's driving full speed through its entire duration. All this being said, it's clear that Fury Road is one of the best action films to come out in the past decade. Now, let's talk about this statement. It's true because, it is incredibly well done, but it's also true because other action films of the past decade have lacked in quality. To me, Fury Road succeeded not only as an action film itself, but as a message to other action films on how to do it right and what they have done wrong. The first time I saw this film in theaters, there was something different to me about how the action was being told. What I noticed right off the bat in the literal first shot was the color. Some of the biggest action films to be released as of recent years have come with a dark blue color palette. Action was portrayed in dimly lit settings or in thunderstorms. If it were in the daylight, it would be told in the middle of a city or some other urban setting. What Mad Max did was flip the colors completely, giving us a harsh orange, a color more suitable for what action films should be told in. I say that because when watching an action movie, we want to be on the edge of our seats. We want to be uncomfortable and in conflict ourselves with the situation, the same way our main character is. How are we going to feel any sense of edge in a cool, blue-looking setting? How is a color so dark and quiet going to scream at us and pull us in the way it should, the way Mad Max does so? I believe color in filmmaking is one of the most important aspects of the art form. It's what makes a scene a certain mood. Action, more than any other genre, requires a more complex approach when creating a mood, considering how the story in the film isn't always at the forefront during an action sequence. That being said, the best and most effective way of getting a mood across to the audience in an action sequence without interrupting the action is through creating a color palette, something Fury Road does perfectly throughout the entire film. Moving on, I feel as though Fury Road gets across how to work with characters in an action film as well. Relatability and perspective is often overlooked in a genre like action, when in reality, perspective is what drives emotion and connectivity in these films, and more importantly, keeps the viewer invested. Too often, at least as of recent, action films focus on our main character and his or her traits. An entire audience is most likely not going to relate to a single character. Not everybody is the same in that way. Some of the greatest action films of all time, Raiders of the Lost Ark being a prime example, have included multiple potential main characters, Indiana Jones, Marion, and Sala, if you can count him. We get the perspective of a leader, another leader of the opposite gender, and a significant yet goofier sidekick. Everyone can find a little bit of themselves in at least one of these characters. Fury Road resurfaces this form of character writing, something most action films have basically forgotten about for the past few years. We have Max, Furiosa, and Nux, basically the same grouping that we had in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Fury Road lets us connect to the characters in the action and makes it just that much harder to look away when watching the film. There was something special about Fury Road when I first saw it in theaters. Of course, there was the flawless editing, the beautiful cinematography, and the tense score, but there was something nostalgic about it as well. I, for once in a long time, felt like a kid again. I wanted to be Max, I wanted to act like Nux, and good God, who doesn't want to be as badass as Furiosa? I wanted to be in the movie. There was something captivating and different about watching this film by the time it was over, and when looking at other action films compared to it, I realized exactly what it was doing. Fury Road pays homage to the many aspects of great action films, while at the same time flicking off modern-day action in the process. It's a message being told in the most brutal yet beautiful form of visual storytelling I've ever seen, and proves George Miller as being one of the coolest and most aware people working in the industry today. As always, thank you so much for watching, go watch a movie, and have a lovely day.